Good evening. Namaste. Human beings have been in conflict around the world, and we have reason to believe this has been so from time immemorial. One is constantly fighting with oneself, and one has enough of conflict with others. If not political disputes, if not legal quarrels, petty quarrels within the family also make one's life miserable. Brothers disagree with each other, in laws do not go together well, and above all, every human being seems to live in self rejection. I'm not all right. I must get better. I should get out of this weakness or that imperfection. I should get there. I should reach there. I should get enlightened. 100 ways a human being, meaning his mind, is in pieces. And therefore, one goes on wondering how I may become truly peaceful, how I find peace. And towards that, at least a large number realize that they have not understood themselves. I have not understood. Where am I wrong? What should I do? What changes should I bring about in my daily life? Or some people use the language in my sadhana, in my spiritual practices. Whatever language they may use, conventional or otherwise, the fact remains that typically we analyze our life. What do we mean by analysis? To me, it means cause hunting. I analyze how I behaved yesterday, how I behaved last month, how I behaved in my high school days. I pick up from memories and I wonder why I was angry at some point, why I was so depressed at some other point, why I could not receive a friend well. So many. Cause hunting. Why did I do this? Why am I feeling tired? Why am I feeling upbeat? So both our good moods and our bad moods are brought to the table of analysis. And analysis elsewhere means breaking into pieces, not in a bad sense, breaking into parts. Pieces may mean bad. Breaking into parts is analysis, and putting parts together to make some sort of a whole is called synthesis. Our mind is constantly busy analyzing very often and synthesizing very many other times. It is here that the teachings which we are trying to understand here in these sessions, the teachings have something unbelievable to say. And that something unbelievable is expressed in a rather strong language. And I am referring to Krishnaji's statement, analysis is paralysis. While in a manner of saying, 99.9% people on the earth are proud of their analytical abilities. They feel proud to say they are analysts. They analyze a whole lot of things in life. While they are proud of their ability to analyze, here comes the statement, analysis is paralysis, putting that very basic process of analysis in bad light. So I will not go long on this, but essentially let me share with you what it means to me when I hear analysis is paralysis. Analysis has the problem of distorting whatever the true picture of the problem is. Why should analysis distort a problem? Isn't analysis the great grand way to know the problem as it is? One wonders. That is where there is an insight which can make everything quite clear. The insight is to answer, rather, to ask the question, when you analyze, who is it that analyzes? It's like Ramana Maharshi says, when you are sad, who is it that is sad? You say, I am sad. And Maharshi Ramana used to say, find out who that I is. That I which is sad, that I which at other times is glad, that I which is some other time is lonely, that I is not a monolith, it is a composite structure. That I is, in the Vedanta they say that I is not the true I. Behind the false I which comes out with endless complaints, there shines the true I. That is the language of Vedanta. Here we are not talking Vedanta. So quickly coming back to the language of the teachings, I would say, just as the very I that is feeling lonely, for example, is of questionable credentials, the very analyst who analyzes a problem. Here we are especially interested in psychological problems. Why don't I have motivation when I need to do something efficiently? Why am I suffering from jealousy when I know jealousy is bad? Why am I feeling lonely when really I have enough friends? Why am I afraid of death? Why? We analyze. Oh dear, who is asking this question? And who is analyzing? Upon closely examining, we can easily find that the analyst is not a monolith. Monolith, all of you know, is something made of a single stone, is monolith. I first visited Taj Mahal in 1979, I think, during our college tour. In my ignorance, and those days photographs were not so abundantly available as now, I had imagined the gumbas of the you know, Taj Mahal to be a single stone. So when I physically, literally stood before the much talked about structure in Agra, I noticed that it has rectangular lines. So it is put together with large number of stones. the main gumbas, and there are four minars. So for a moment I said, oh, I thought it's going to be totally smooth. And then I smiled. Oh, why did I imagine that way? Leave it aside. In thought also, we could visualize a single thought, nothing behind it, nothing by the side of it, nothing ahead of it, nothing supporting it, nothing defending it, nothing opposing it. We could imagine. But no thought is a monolith. Analyst is not a monolith. The analyst is himself or herself made of many memories. The analyst who analyzes a problem is a bundle of beliefs, a bundle of pre-concluded notions. I have a friend who is a bit orthodox. He feels jittery if he gets up a little later than 4 a.m. Whole day he is in bad mood. And if you ask him, you seem to be a little down today mentally. What's the matter? He says, I feel so ashamed. I didn't get up at 4 a.m. It was already, can you believe, shame on me? 6 o'clock it was. I was to get up at 4, got up at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Oh, it should not repeat. So he is trying to find out why sometimes he gets up late. And accompanying that recognition that he got up late, there is shame, there is conflict, there is self rejection, there is a whole lot of negative emotions. Only a whisper in this consciousness saying it's okay, take it easy. The whisper saying take it easy is overshadowed by 100 other thoughts saying it's not okay. You must get up at 4, not even a minute late. In this example, you see a whole lot of people don't feel ashamed if they don't get up at 4. This fellow has some background. This fellow has some kind of belief where he picked it up somewhere. Somewhere he compared himself with somebody who was getting up at 4 a.m. and he too decided to get up at 4 a.m. daily, and he did succeed on many occasions, and nowadays it's not working out so well. Can you please see that the fact that he got up at 6 a.m. is not viewed, not looked at with an unbiased, impartial, childlike, innocent mind. On the contrary, the fact that he got up at 6 that morning was looked at by a mind loaded with certain questionable beliefs or values. That is how in some examinations like the 10th standard examinations in this country, very often we hear somebody who got 92% marks commits suicide, and somebody who has just got 54 or 56% marks passes, distributes sweets in the town. Because the first student got 92% is a fact, but he looks at it through the lens of certain beliefs that my elder brother never got less than 95. How can I get less? I am from a family where everybody is a gold medalist, everybody is so meritorious. 92 is not acceptable. Already there is a judgment. And then if he analyzes, let me see why I got 92. Was my preparation less? Was my writing the answer paper not so good? Analysis. Poor fellow, he doesn't know that in the first place, he's judging that I got some marks which is utterly not acceptable. It's shameful. It is most disappointing. My parents will scold me now. We gave you so much encouragement, and this is what you got. They will say, see. And to complete the example, the fellow who got only 54% is dancing in joy because he thought he would fail, but he has passed the exam. His belief system is, I don't know whether I'll pass this time. Maybe with great difficulty I will get 34%. Something like that. So both fellows who celebrate or who blame themselves are analyzing a situation not with an open, unbiased, pure, a mind that has freedom right at its beginning and so on, which we talk about in these discussions. The minds of both these human beings, irrespective of whether they are happy about something or sad about something, please see, analysis is a paralysis in either situation. Without judging, without analyzing, without seeing it through the lens of some beliefs, pre-conclusions, etc., if we can behold, if we can watch what is happening in the mind, what happens in the mind as a first response could have bits of conditioning playing there. That's okay. We are not excessively creating a perfect picture. We are not saying that our mind should not have any sorrow, any disappointment, any celebrative mood. No. The mind, which has certain conditionings, might have some reactions. But when we watch that mind, which has already shot into reactions, do we watch the reaction which has risen already with an unbiased mind, silent mind, a quiet mind? Such a quiet, unbiased looking is said to be the solution provider. In silence, the solution emerges as though from nowhere. And in analysis, which is in our immaturity, looked at as something smart to do, alas, the true solution eludes, escapes us. Therefore, in analysis, that part of the mind which is analyzing, being necessarily a product of conditionings or beliefs or presumptions, call it bias, call it prejudice, call it colored glass, whatever you want to call, this analyst is a problem. It's like Hindus and Muslims are fighting and you appoint a judge, and that judge is in his heart of hearts highly pro Hindu or pro Muslim. He is not unbiased, but he has got a gold medal in law and has served as a judge for 25 years. Just on that basis, you appoint him to resolve the Hindu Muslim riot. The poor fellow is not free of bias. He himself has strong, not just light, strong bias towards either Hindu or Muslim. You need a judge who has personally nothing for or against this side, nothing for or against that side. Likewise, friends, to conclude my submissions, If analysis is not to cause paralysis, here paralysis is preventing us from free movement to understand the situation. In paralysis, your hand is not moving. In paralysis, some parts of the body have stopped moving, right? Like that, in analysis, why do we say a paralysis takes place? Some elements and some components of intelligence which would explore and open up the whole puzzle have become uh, motionless. Analyst has bias. Let's challenge the analyst in us. When analysis gets going, we ask the analyst, hey, are you free from any bias? Are you free from any belief? The analyst raises his hands. Sorry, I have my own beliefs, my own prejudices, my own opinions. I am opinionated in favor of side A or maybe in favor of side B. Then you are disqualified. You cannot see the situation as it is, right? That is how analysis is not the way. Today's topic is putting analysis in contrast to pure, quiet watching. Analysis cannot solve problems, psychological problems, and watching holds the unique position or holds that great capacity to unravel the mysteries of human predicaments. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Harshad sir.
Yes. Thank you, Swamiji. This topic analysis is paralysis. This analysis they use in many other subjects like chemical analysis or statistical analysis to find out certain things like if a substance is given and you want to find out how much of it is nitrogen, how much is of sulfur, and so they do chemical analysis, but and statistical analysis where they want to find out like how many people in this country are between the age of 10 and 15 years. So they collect lots of data, plot it on a graph, make some chart, and then they find something. So that is called analysis. But we are talking about psychological analysis. And this psychological analysis was invented by Freud, and he thought it is a method where people who have some mental problems they go to psychologist and the psychologist asks many questions to the patient and the patient keeps on talking and from the data gathered from what the patient says the psychologist is the analyzer and so he tries to find out what is the problem this person is. It may be something happened in the childhood memory or something which happened, some memories which are trying to repress. And so this analysis, psychological analysis, it involves two things. One is the analyzer and the one is the analyzed. So the analyzer is a psychologist and the analyze is the patient. So there's a duality there, and wherever there's a duality, there cannot be a complete understanding because the psychologist doesn't know the whole past of the patient. And but we also analyze human beings we analyze our own mind. So suppose if I become angry, then I like to find out why I became angry. So there is this I, and then there is the anger. So this I, which is the analyzer, me, and anger is the analyze. So there is the duality there. And this I, which is what is that I? Even Swamiji asked that question, and that I is not the real I. It is also a product of thinking. So, in Krishnamurti's words, which I found it very interesting, he said the thought creates the thinker, and the thinker means me. And this I or me or thinker tries to change thought. So there is a duality between thinker and thought. And Krishnamurti said that all our psychological problems are because of this duality between thinker and thought. So when first time when I read it, I found it something very new because I had studied Upanishads and Ramakrishna and many other philosophers, but nobody has really talked about this thinking and the thinker. So I tried to meditate on Krishnamurti's statement. So if you want to really find out uh, how these problems, and Krishnaji said that the problems are arising, the psychological problems are arising from thinking. So one has to go right at the source from where thinking is arising. And that means one has to be extremely careful about
सर आवाज नहीं आ रही है आपकी हर्षद सर आवाज नहीं आ रही है
just pure awareness, the mind even becomes silent. So there is this quality or faculty which exists in human beings, but we are not using it because that is called awareness or intelligence. So as long as this awareness or intelligence is not awakened, we cannot look at thoughts very clearly. And so there will be this I, which is the product of thought, will try to analyze thinking, and it will go on more and more conflict. And so that is why also Krishnaji said that thinking cannot solve our problems of psychological nature. And he said thinking is the problem. When this thinking creates the thinker, me, out of it, and then tries to analyze, then it creates more conflict. So, but when there is this faculty of choiceless awareness or intelligence is awakened, then it can see everything very clearly, how these thoughts are coming. And in that, so just observing without the thinker, this awareness observing, in that there are no problems. Thoughts are coming and thoughts are moving. And so uh, that is what Krishnaji would call choiceless awareness, in which there is no duality, no thinker, me coming and trying to analyze thought. So this is something very beautiful what Krishnaji has said. And when a person is able to experiment, and to experiment, one has to be alone, very silent, turning the attention inward and looking with whole energy to the beginning of a thought. And that is probably difficult for most human beings. And generally, human beings try to escape from looking at their own thoughts, because that thoughts could be very disturbing. And so we try to escape, and then we can go to an astrologer or a psychologist, or read some book. But the problem, other human being cannot solve our problem. We have to look. The problem is created by the mind, and this awareness is something which can see the problem, how it is arising at its source. And without that, even I think many people who read Krishnamurti for many, many years, they still, after many years, are not able to look clearly at their own mind and really be at peaceful looking at what is. And that what is without what should be, because there is a conflict between what is, that I am angry and I want to be free from anger, that is what should be. So there is a conflict. But without this should be coming, and what is, and it is in that there is no problem. So there may be good thoughts, bad thoughts, but it doesn't create problem when this awareness is on. But without that, we get lost. So sometimes I compare our mind like a spider. Our spider, like a spider, is creating a web, but the spider doesn't get caught in its own web. Our mind is also like a spider. It creates many, many thoughts, and it gets caught into it, and then is not able to come out. So only when there is this effortless, choiceless, motiveless awareness comes into our life, then all this, everything, thoughts, what they are unfolding, it can be seen clearly. It is like reading the book of our own life very clearly, as it is being written every day, every moment. So that is this moment by moment awareness of what is. That is what Krishnamurti's teachings are. And for that, one needs freedom to observe. And without that, we can get lost into all this conflict, analysis, paralysis, and conflict within oneself, and then conflict with other human beings and in society. And this has been going on for many, many years. So the only thing one we have to do is to find out whether there is this kind of choiceless awareness which can see everything very, very clearly. And then we can even look at the trees and the human beings and the nature, everything very, very clearly without thinking, without this thinker coming and creating conflict between observer and the observed. So this is something very, very beautiful, but one has to experiment with it. And then when it happens, then one doesn't need to read anything. No books required. Only one can see what is happening within oneself, and that clarifies everything. Okay, I have finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harshad sir.
Yes, Kamlesh. Yeah.
Dinesh ji.
Are you able to hear my voice clearly?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Today's topic is very interesting. Topic is analysis is paralysis. I would just like to express my views. Is here Swamiji has also added a problem of distortion. That also we would discuss later on. First of all, what is the meaning of analysis? Already Swamiji has indicated the careful examination of the different parts or details of the something. The result of a careful examination of something. Why there is a need of analysis? First of all, the need of analysis, according to me, is because already there is a division in the universe. There is a division. There is a time. There is a what we can fragmentation, etc. So to understand them and for the research purpose, as Harshad sir said, analysis is a must. And of course, this all falls when the man is ignorant. Normal man is ignorant, mob is ignorant. As far as spirituality is concerned, he is ignorant. This is with reference to spirituality. So, for the normal mob, this is a must. Analysis is a must. Now, what JK is saying? JK is saying analysis is paralysis. Why? Because this is, according to me, this is with reference to spirituality. When you are going for the spirituality, if anybody wants to go for spirituality, then he has to understand in totality. And he cannot integrate all the parts. That also we have seen in the past. We also discussed this problem also we have discussed in past. But one thing is very clear, he cannot integrate everything and understand. It will take infinite time. So JK is definitely saying, as per me, for with reference to spirituality. What JK says, analysis is paralysis because every analysis must be perfect, complete, and you are frightened that it might not be complete. If you have not completed it, you carry it over as a memory, which will then analyze the next incident. So each analysis brings its own incompleteness, therefore it is total paralysis. This is with reference to spirituality. Because it creates analyzer, and analyzer then further analyzes the next incidents or whatever it is, or next time when it analyzes the same thing, he analyzes with something in his with reference to his memory or past experience, etc. Analysis is paralysis because we can go on analyzing infinitely, endlessly. There is no action. So here, based on analysis, he says, in spirituality you cannot take any action. It is a slow paralysis. That's why it is a slow paralysis, because there is no movement. To me, again, this is very important one. To me, because the man who is interested in spirituality, these things we are talking for him only, not for all the persons. To me, analysis has no meaning. As if you discard analysis, if you really see that it is not conducive to understanding and intelligent action, there is only observation and action. Now, here my question is, whatever JK is saying is okay, observation and action. But prior to that, he has to see it, observe it. And whatever we say, whatever observation he will be doing with some past only. Okay, now he has understood that what analyzer creates the problem. So he will discard the analyzer. But whatever he sees, he has to observe it with reference to some past only. Suppose there is a ABCD. If he has not learned ABCD, he cannot observe ABCD without any analyzer or past reference or this thing. So uh, uh, this is the thing. He has to have some memory. If he doesn't have memory, then he will be a zombie, like a zombie. Or the mind is like a vegetable, which doesn't know anything. So that is not, I think, has got any meaning. So analysis, further he says analysis implies time and division. All right. So division is there and it implies time also. Now my views to start with a man who is agyani, ignorant, and tools he is having is intellect and mind. Money. what we can say. So he has to use these only and understand the clarity of the intellect and mind, to which JK says right thinking. Right thinking has been indicated by Harshad Parekh also. So right thinking, first of all he has to go for the right thinking. Then he understands that at one stage, then he understands that there are limitations to these tools with reference to spirituality, and then he goes for other higher tools like awareness. Same is the case with the bhakt. When he finds hurdle, then he goes for surrender and find a guru. After that, he starts understanding energy phenomena and he moves forward, to which tradition says Gauni Bhakti and Shaktopad, with the bhakti with the energy. So these are the two things. Now, what Shiv Sutra? Say, for example, I would like to give the reference of Shiv Sutra. First of all, Shiv Sutra says for a Jnani or the novice or the man who starts as a new, Jnanam Jagruta. He has to get the Jnana which makes him Jagruta. And we have seen in JK's all teaching that he has tried to make persons Jagrut, aware, and awaken, we can say. So, first Gyan is Jagrut, and that is known as Goni Vidya. It's Goni Bhakti. Then, further, when the energy phenomena he starts understanding, then Shiv Sutra says Jnanam Bandha. Matlab same Shiv Sutra says Jnanam Bandha, and this is known as Shaktopad. So, first of all, Jnanam Jagruta, then Jnanam Bandha, means ignorant person first becomes awakened and goes for the right thinking, then he goes for the self-analysis, and then not self-analysis, self-knowing. So he goes for the self-knowing, and then he can go for the further that immeasurable, for the in search of that immeasurable or whatever ultimate truth or whatever we can say. So this is what my views are. So we have to clearly understand, as per me, that these are two things, different things. One gives you the knowledge and progress and development in the world, and other gives you the development and progress, etc., in the spiritual field. Thank you.
Swamiji.
Any questions, comments from Swamiji?
I cannot say anything about the comments made by Dinesh Ji drawing from Shiva Sutras. That seems to be having its own technical terminology. But in the beginning, you said whatever is said about analysis, calling it paralysis, is especially relevant when you turn spiritual, hinting that otherwise in functional life analysis has its place. Harshadji also began saying in science there is chemical analysis of compounds, in various other matters also statistical analysis and so on. So in a way it is accepted. However, when we say we need, when we try to do analysis in psychological domain, it goes infinitely. Perhaps what you mean is It goes round and we do not really arrive at a solution. In that sense, that is also to be appreciated. Essentially, that division between thinker and thought is what is hard for most people to figure out. For the moment thinking begins, there is the division, thinker and thought. It makes sense to us to some extent, but it seems to be quite an involved puzzle. Rather than commenting more, I request Harshadji to throw a little more light on this division between thinker and thought. What exactly is it? And is there a situation where thinker and thought merge or both of them vanish? Is it ending of thinking or is it awareness shining forth and thinker and thought play a second fiddle? They become insignificant. Is thought without the division possible at all? So this terminology and the involved factors, perhaps you can take up and give your opinion. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. As sometimes Krishnaji says, the freedom is at the beginning. That means, are we really deeply interested in observing the thoughts which are arising? Because that is the beginning. Uh, because when Krishnaji said that all our psychological problems, it comes from thinking, and from thinking comes this thinker, I or me, ego. It comes from thinking. So that really made me very curious that what we call this I or me, which wants to solve the problem, is it really different than thought or it is a product of thought? And Krishnaji said it is a product of thought. So if you want to verify what Krishnaji is saying, one needs freedom, curiosity, attention, energy to look at the beginning of a thought. So I used to sit in my office in 1970s to because I wanted to watch the beginning of a thought. And in this process of observing, the mind really stopped and there is nothing, no thought not even coming. And only this awareness exists in that, in which there are no thoughts, but one can listen to the sounds, one can see things, and that is the real beauty, I think, in our life when it happens, when there is a pure awareness and no thoughts, then even a ordinary looking tree can look so beautiful because our mind is not chattery. But this thinking has become a habit to human beings, especially after we learn a language and we go to school and college and we are encouraged to think. And so uh, we have this habit that thinking can solve the problems. But the psychological problems cannot be solved by thinking. One needs something else, what Krishnaji calls choiceless awareness or intelligence. And that comes when a person is very, very curious to look at the beginning of a thought. And so that is my experience. I felt that yes, Krishnaji was quite right that when there are no thoughts, there is only pure awareness. In that, there are no problems. But even then, when this awareness is awakened, even thoughts can come, it doesn't create a problem. But when there is no awareness, then this thought multiplies. from this thinking comes this thinker, me, who wants to change whatever it is, anger or fear or jealousy or something. So division comes when there is no awareness. But when there is awareness, thoughts are going beautifully without creating any division between this thinker not coming. Only thinking exists like a stream going on, and there is no problem in that. So awareness is like a light in which everything, all the thoughts and feelings are seen clearly as they are. So sometime I give an example of many people are walking in a room and the room is dark and they are colliding with each other. But then somebody comes in the room and switch on the light, and all these people then they can move in a harmonious way without colliding with each other. So what we lack in our life is this awareness, is like a light which shows thoughts as they are. So there is no fighting in that. There is no thinker coming and wants to change, like fear or anger or jealousy or whatever problems are there. Only seeing, and that's why Krishna ji says this seeing is the perception is the action which dissolves, or he says awareness is the light in which all the problems created by thinking are dissolved. So I find what Krishnaji says is really very, very good. One has to give one's whole energy, attention to look at the beginning of a thought, whether it is possible. So I think that freedom is required at the beginning to see that. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Can I make an comment? Can I make a comment?
Yes.
Actually, it is a fact that, say, between a tree and you, there is a difference. They are not same. So, what even gentleman has asked, JK, when you say so, observation, in case of you mean perception. In perception also, there is a perceiver and perception. So, what actually you mean to say? According to me, neither the perceiver is important nor the perception is important. Nothing is important. Only the energy which is creating or which is giving light to all this tree, you, and the distance or time, that is important. So there is a energy which is behind this, and that energy is giving light to all, like a current given to a bulb. We cannot see the current, but we can see the light of a bulb. Similarly, we cannot see the background energy, but we can see the effects of it. Thank you.
Waghmare, would you please speak on energy now? Because you have made energy so important. So let us listen that also. You compare the things, then you say something, and then you say this is more important. So let me go for energy. Please say something on energy.
Whatever
Explain.
you are doing, whatever
Yeah.
action you are taking, or whatever you are doing, or whatever is happening in you, there is some background energy which is doing everything. Some part of it has been given to you, which you can use as a choice, and you can use it as a movement of hand, or say movement of leg and all that, or movement of eye movement, you can use as a choice. But otherwise, all the functions are automatic. So these functions, who is doing all these functions? Similarly, the Raman Maharshi also says, "Who is I?" So
Please don't say who says what says. don't say that Krishnamurti says this, Shiv Strot says this. I wanted to listen directly from Waghmare. Please tell, because you have got
So,
some clarity. You say that you have got some clarity. I don't find that clarity, but still I am interested.
so whatever that energy is there, it is available with everybody, and it is doing everything. So, if meditation you go and with
No, we are
years,
not going for meditation. We are trying to understand what energy is in your cells. बिकॉज मैं व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड इतने हिस्सों में बट गया हूं मैं कि मेरे हिस्से में कुछ बचा ही नहीं मैं तो ऐसा सोचता
then,
हूं
then,
मतलब
then, then
कि जब भी आप डिवाइड करते
these
हो
are
चीजों
these
को
are your
कुछ भी नहीं
imaginations,
बचता है
your concepts, your ideas. Then you don't want to listen. Then remain with it. What is the problem?
नो नो
Then
नो
you
नो
don't have
वी
any
आई
problem.
एम
Remain with
लिसनिंग यू विद इंटरेस्ट प्लीज
it.
please be
No, no, no.
because
Sorry, sorry. Don't show interest
you
here.
are always bringing some Shiv
No,
Srot
when
or
you
some
don't want to
traditional
listen,
knowledge or some
don't show
other
interest.
thing other than this topic.
No, no.
you
Don't show
you
any
give
interest,
light
sir.
on that way.
No, don't say any. Don't show any interest in it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. So, but please don't speak this way, please.
This way means this is what I already said that these are my views.
No, no, no. It is your way only. It is not the way out
Okay,
of that thing problem.
okay, okay,
What
okay.
I feel, you make them complicated, then you bring something another, and then you say this is the things. For me, it is very difficult. If Harshad sir understand it or Chidanandji understand it, let them say me. I will try to understand from their mouth itself.
I
Because
already.
I think this is nothing but just you are giving them turn and turn and turn and making them more complicated.
What is the problem, sir? What is the fear? Remain with the complications.
No fear, sir.
Okay,
Please
let
take.
Pradeep ji wants to say something.
I am
Listen to
not
him.
fearing anything. I am not fearing anything. It is from your own language. This is a fear. I am just understanding. Just understanding. It will be better if Chidanandji says something, if Harshad Parekh says something, if anybody, even anyone can say something to me. Please make
No,
me
Pradeep ji wants to
understand.
say
Please
something.
make me
Let him say.
understand. Please keep silence and let me understand from others too.
Mm. Mm.
We should listen to Pradeep ji now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
sir. Okay.
Mm.
But he should
Thank you.
speak on this only, please.
Mm.
Pradeep ji, please speak on this, what I am asking.
Mm. Mm.
It is better.
Mm. So, good evening, friends. It has already come to a state of housewarming. Already there is a lot of warmth. But anyway, to start with, when Swamiji started his this thing topic, he used the word self-rejection. So I was a little puzzled whether it is because of that are we really doing self-rejection or self-promotion? And for that, so many problems come because most of the psychological problems are related to the self. If we had been rejecting it, that of course is also a reaction. But are we doing rejecting? No. No, this is what I see. And then he explained analysis as cause hunting. Hunting only is that little violent word. Otherwise, cause and effect. Here comes the important basic point of time. Whether each moment is different. We also say that each time has all the time. Then analysis is paralysis. When he said, it means there is no movement. To me, there is not a moment when there is no movement of mind. So, are we really paralyzed? Are we really paralyzed, ignorant persons? Because a number of things, even regression analysis, if you see all that is related to time and cause and effect, of course, it is based on that. So it is not that easy a subject. I can simply, it's beyond my comprehension, because psychology is always a number of factors. It's not a question of moment, that each moment, although I can imagine that in mutation this can happen, this also is a theoretical thing in my mind, in anybody's mind, that moment everything changes. So that way, that moment can be explained as different, but otherwise there is some sort of continuity always there in psychological realm, especially because we are suffering because of that continuity. Freedom from the past he talked about. You see, but is it that clear-cut past or clear-cut present or a clear-cut future in my imagination? So I have to, you can say it's my ignorance. I am trying to understand, because how time is weaved in. Although we may separate it, psychological time and biological time, of course, biological time or chronological time is beyond anybody's control, is by certain factors which are beyond human beings' control. So I have to understand from Swamiji whether each moment is different moment. First thing. Then there is no cause and effect, because I never wanted to it, but Buddha said for every problem there is a cause. And once you get the cause, Nivaran is there. So it's not that all our problems are, you may say, that cause. When is that cause? How large that cause is in sphere, in linear and vertical. So these are complications, but I have to be very clear from Swamiji especially, and even Harshad Bhai, because he has also done a lot of research, or rather his academics has full of these things, what energy people are talking about. Talking means that also is energy. So I have to make it clear from Swamiji, time, space, psychology, me, or for that matter, any human being, whether how these things in me play a role. Thank you very much for giving me. Because perception is action. One more sentence. Perception is action, we know. But that perception is all the senses together, everything together, not a particular single sense. So action, in that, when the perception is action, even that perceiver is not there. It gets absolutely out. Right. You see, when I take a picture, when I'm not talking now, I'm talking in the form of past, myself, past, and how I take pictures and how I see them. But once see a particular thing, I am out. I am out totally. Only that thing is there. And if it is really so, then you get the best of the observed. When the observer is absorbed totally, this is a regular feature with me. I'm not boasting about it. It's my hobby. I like it. Images are important, but only for that moment. Thank you very much. Swamiji or Harshad Bhai, you are welcome.
I will answer only one point. By paralysis, I did not mean stagnation in the usual sense, literally not moving. What I meant or what I understood from that quote of Krishnaji is there is no progress at all towards finding a solution. It's like one may be saying, I'm going from Bombay to Delhi, but he is going in circles somewhere 50 miles away from Bombay. He is just going in circles. He may be moving, he may be active, he may be very energetic, but in the direction of Delhi, there is no movement. Therefore, analysis may keep us very active, finding more and more information. However, there is no solution to the psychological problem. If there is only analysis, if there is analysis and not unbiased, quiet watching. So take the word paralysis as no progress in the direction of true solution, no matter how much movement or energy or activity is seen in the mind. Mind may not stop, but mind is not getting nearer at all to a solution. Therefore, it is paralysis. Over to Harshadji if he wants to answer any other aspect, space, time, and so on.
Yes. I would say this analysis, maybe there is some energy is involved, but it is a dissipating energy. It's you get tired after doing the analysis, and it is not complete because every moment something new is happening. Our life moment by moment is changing. So sometimes I consider our mind is like a soap bubble, and if you have made a soap bubble, you see the colors on the soap bubble are continuously changing, and the whole world is reflected on the soap bubble. So our mind is like that. And to see that soap bubble, what is called the mind, there is something which is not thinking is required. And Krishnaji uses the word attention, awareness, perception, many words he's using, but it means seeing clearly without thinking. And thinking can be seen just like the colors on a soap bubble. One can see it. Similarly, thoughts arising moment by moment can be seen as they are, not through thinker, not through another thought. So that is the real beauty. That is the real beauty. And about the energy, I think this attention is like a energy, creative energy. And without that, um, thinking energy doesn't solve psychological problem, but this energy of attention where there is no dissipation taking place, in that the problem can be seen clearly as it is. And so that seeing is the action. That is what. And about the perceiver and perception, there is no duality there. Only perception is there. And in that, whatever is happening is seen there clearly. So I would say the freedom is required in this area, to freedom to look at one's own mind but not through thinking. And so that's why it becomes very difficult for most human beings to understand what Krishnaji is talking about. And people try very, very hard, but even then it doesn't work. So it requires kind of a freedom where you don't have any motive to achieve anything, a motiveless curiosity to see what is as it is unfolding in the mind. So I think that is why Krishnaji's teachings are considered to be very beautiful, but at the same time, they are very, very difficult, and very, very few people are able to see clearly their own mind as it is going on moment by moment. So I think that is what I would say about Krishnaji's teachings. It's not easy. Hmm.
Shakti
Okay,
ji.
I believe. Yeah.
Shakti ji.
Is my
For
voice
that,
reaching, sir? Is my voice reaching?
Yes.
Yeah. I
reaching
just wanted
comfortably.
I just wanted to say something about thinker and thought. The hypothesis seems to be that since thought is impermanent, that is very obvious, they come and go. The thought is, they create a thinker who seems permanent, who assumes some sort of commentator, analyzer, saying this is good, this is bad. But that thinker is not a fixed entity, because it can be some other type of commentator at other times. So it seems that the thinker and thought, thinking is a movement, whereas thinker is a created entity. It is just one thought who takes one role. This is what I understood. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Dr. Kulkarni.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, first of all, I would like to thank and congratulate all the speakers, Swamiji. So, just within a minute, just what I have understood, wanted to say. So, analysis and analyzer. Coming to the analyzer, if we understand, Krishnaji's at the end of his life, he said, nobody is following my teaching. So, what we are learning and telling again and again and thinking, that is what the analysis. So, we are not interested in living. So, once we start living, so this intellectualization and mind thinking, thinker, thought, everything will end. So, that is the beauty. So, that we are coming into the timeless factor, spaceless factor, and choiceless factor. So, now analysis or analyzer or the inquiry, including the Ramana Maharshi and Krishnaji has said same thing. See, inquiry has to happen in the non-self or the matter or whatever we call me or the self-center, which we are doing. So once we know this, the knower, the complete unknown zone, we will be thrown into that, so that it itself will reveal what it is. Second thing, coming to this, Harshaji has said very nicely. So normally by analysis, we are dissipating our energy. So we are going into the senses, we are going into the past and making me, these are that name, forms, words. So all these involve the senses, intellect, and the mind field, or the physical field and the mental field. But the real I, which is a spiritual field, which cannot be expressed or expressed as just a shadow only. as Swamiji also has said. So analysis is needed in this physical world, and it's essential also. I'm a doctor, I have to analyze a problem. Patient is coming. So if I am a conflict, I have to analyze. But that is in the field of the physical and mental and the intellectual field area. But what is beyond that, once we become empty of the known or the past or the me or the self-center, so mind has capacity to see its self-center making, division, or making finity. So it itself will throw away, it itself will reveal, just like a dream. So the Srishti Sthiti Laya is happening same time. So that's what I have understood. Once again, I thank and congratulate all the speakers for the same. Thank you.
Prasad sir.
Namaste, sir, to everybody. The topic is analysis is paralysis. So there is an analyzer and there is something analyzed. This topic is related to the thinker and thought duality. I am threatened with being closed by Zoom. So, thinker and thought. The thoughts keep on coming. They are impermanent. So the mind notices that the thoughts are impermanent, and so it wants to create somebody who is permanent. So a part of the thought or the same thought takes the position of a thinker, and the thinker is said to be permanent. It is thought to be permanent. Thought is impermanent, thinker is permanent. But from where this thinker has come, this thinker is only thought. Thought is taking two roles. Thought is thought, and also some thought becomes thinker. Similarly, it becomes the analyzer. Like thinker, the analyzer is supposed to be somebody permanent. This permanent agency is analyzing. Now, there is really nothing permanent. I think this is what Shakti Kumar ji has hinted at. And Ramana Maharshi raises the question, who are you? He asks you to consider yourself, who am I? So, who are you? You are the thinker. You are the analyzer. That is all we can go up to. If there is anything beyond that, it is not within our understanding. So, and analysis is paralysis. As Swamiji has said lastly, it is a non-movement in the direction of a solution. Solution being your perception of the reality. In that direction, there is paralysis with this analysis. And because this analysis is riddled with the problem of distortion, which Swamiji has raised. Problem of distortion. When you start analyzing, you end up in distortion. Why distortion? Because your analysis is based upon your conditioning. The way you analyze is all on the basis of your conditioning, your background. If you are a Muslim, you analyze in one way, Christian another way, Hindu another way. So we bring our backgrounds into this process of analysis. So, and Parekh has said, this is relevant, this topic is relevant in the realm of psychological matters. I think analysis is analysis is relevant both in the spiritual field, psychological field, and also the physical field. But its damage is most in psychological field. Because in the physical field, it is inevitable. There is no other option. We have to analyze. But there also, the problem of distortion can arise. For that, the analyzer or the scientist who is analyzing, he has to be aware of this issue, that his analysis is probably damaged by this distortion, which comes from his conditioning. If a scientist, that is why Krishnaji says, freedom is first and last. Freedom is in the beginning, in the first step, which means you have to be free of your conditioning, your tradition, your luggage, the luggage which we all carry. So, unless you are aware of all those things, analysis, you cannot really be aware of all that. You can't get rid of your conditioning like that. So, his solution is only choiceless awareness. If you can only be choicelessly aware of your issues, then that itself will show you a way. Thank you, sir.
Thanks all.
As time has come, so we will have to end the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.